court is now back in session. And again, the defense counsel for Nunji is given the floor to continue putting questions to the civil party. And counsel, as you may proceed. National Co-Defense Counsel. Madam Witness is the counsel. Before the break, you said the harvest season was in November or December. And can you recall in which month then that you went to work at the first Evidentiary Dam work site? Answer. I can only recall that when I made a second trip, it was during the season that the rice was not yet harvested. Question. My question was about the first trip you made, and you said the rice was ripe in November or December. Does that jog your memory that maybe it was in November or December when you first went to the dam work site? Answer. It was in November. Question. In your victim information form, that is document D22/3914A, EN in Khmer is 00584868, and in English 01098783, and in French 00847036. You said that you went to work there for 3 months. Do you still stand by that statement? Answer. I went when the rice was ripe, and it took us 3 months to clear the land. And we carried earth for only 3 months, and then we were instructed to return to the village due to heavy rain. Question. So, you worked there for 3 months. Is that correct? Answer. The earth carrying was 3 months, but we were there before that, as we had to clear the land, and that happened, I don't know, maybe in November or December when the rice was not yet harvested. Question. How many rainy seasons did you experience at the first Evidentiary Dam work site? Answer. I cannot recall when there were light rains, but I recall that there was one time when the rain was heavy and the rainwater rose to knee-deep height. Question. Can I then say during the heavy rain you were withdrawn to engage in rice farming in another area and not at the dam work site? Answer. Yes, that is correct, as we were reassigned to work to the rice field in Balang. And in Kampong Thom, a group was reassigned to carry salt, but I myself was assigned to do rice farming at Balang. Question. when your group was transferred to Balang, what about the work at the first January work site? Was it completed? Answer, no, it was not. It was not yet done. Question, when your unit was transferred, do you know if another unit came to replace your unit at the work site? Answer, no. A small unit was transferred elsewhere from the big unit, and only the two small units that I was in one of the two small units that were transferred to Balang. Question. This morning you said that no one was injured in doing the work at the work site. Was any of your members in your group arrested and sent to be killed? Answer, that did not happen in my unit. Question. When you were transferred to work in Balang, was there any Cham person in your group or in your unit? Answer, no, there was no Cham person. Council, thank you, and Mr. President, I don't have any further question. President, thank you. The Chamber now hands the floor to the defense team for cues upon to put questions to the civil party, and you may proceed, Council. Council Kung Som-on. Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Your Honors, and everyone in and around the courtroom, and good afternoon, Madam Civil Party. I only have a few questions for you. First, I'd like to ask you about your date of birth. As what you said yesterday, and what is in document D22/3914 at EN in Khmer 0057 to 025, and in French 01095872, and in English 0106 9538 is inconsistent. In the document, that is the document that I just described, it states your date of birth is 24th, 1953, but in your response yesterday, you were born on the 24th of January. So please tell the court which date of birth is correct. Answer. According to the family book record, when I looked, it was incorrect, as it was written by the registrar, and in fact it was not in April that I was born, it was actually in January. However, all has been amended, so my correct date of birth is actually in January and not April. Question. Your ID card that is 15012726 the date of birth on that card is incorrect, and you have to use your birth registration, which is 24th January 1953. Is that correct? President Civil Party, please observe the microphone. Answer: yes, that is correct. Question: about your work at the First January Dam work site. You told the court that you were in a sector mobile unit. And can you please enlighten us as to which sector your mobile unit was in? Answer: I do not know the number for the sector or which province our mobile unit was in. However, I was told by the unit chief that we belonged to the sector mobile unit. Question: and do you know who was chief of the sector mobile unit? Answer: I only know the big unit chief that is shown, and above that I do not know. Question: do you know how many big units were in your sector? Answer: only my unit was the sector big mobile unit, and I did not know about other units. Question: a while ago, you also answered about the first trip you made to the First January Dam work site, and that during the first trip you had to clear the land, and that happened around November. Please tell us the year of your first trip to the site. Answer: I cannot recall the year at all. Question: can you recall whether it was the beginning of the construction of the First January Dam work site when you arrived in around November that year? Answer: the big unit chief told us the dates that we had to depart to the work site for the dam construction. Question: my question is that when you arrived at the work site, did you see that the dam had already been started? The work on the dam had already been started? Or was it nothing there and you started to build the dam from the beginning? Do you get my question? If so, please respond. Answer: we were not the first group to arrive there. In fact, men had been sent there to stop to patch or to stop the water flowing from the river. So men were sent to stop the water first before our force was sent to build the dam. Question. So when your group arrived, it means the water had already been blocked for the purpose of building the dam. Am I correct in saying so? Answer. Actually, the work was still ongoing, although it was almost completed. And I heard that actually the water broke through and some workers had been killed. Question. Can you tell us the circumstances around the events that it says the dam collapsed or the water broke through? Answer. I cannot tell you about that circumstances as I did not see it. People went to see it and I was told by them. Question. Can you tell us about the condition of the worksite upon your arrival? You said that the water was almost completely blocked when you arrived. Answer. I already said that I did not see when the water broke through and collapsed a part of the blockage. People were there and they said about it, and I only heard about what happened. Council interrupts. Madam Civil Party, I do not ask you about the partial collapse or the blockage, but I want to know about the work progress at the dam work site upon your arrival. What did you see? Did you see that the water from the river had completely been blocked so that the dam could be constructed? Please elaborate a little bit further on this point. Answer. Initially, there was another big unit to the east of my unit. Actually, had been there before our unit. They had already cleared the land and built their sleeping quarter and already built parts of the embankment of the dam for that dam. And our group was to continue working from their section onward towards the east, rather to the west. Question. So you said first when you arrived at the dam construction site, you spent about 3 months clearing the land. Then you spent additional 3 months to carry the dirt. Does it mean that you spent about 6 months for your first work assignments to the dam construction site? Answer. I spent 3 months at the dam construction work site carrying the dirt. I do not talk about the months that I spent clearing the land. Question. Can you tell the court how much time you spend clearing the forest? Of course, you said that you carried earth for 3 months. So, how many months did you spend clearing the forest? Was it continuous? That is, 3 months. You spent some months clearing the forest, and then you continue carrying the dirt. And sir, I cannot recall how many months I spent in clearing the forest. As for carrying the dirt, I recall that I left Balang when the rice was not yet ripe. Question. Did you go to clear the forest before or after you started carrying the dirt? Answer. In fact, we had to clear the forest first, and then we burned the branches, and after that, that plot of land that we had cleared was measured for us to dig the earth there. Question. So you clear the forest first, and then you dug the soil. Answer. Yes. Question. And you said you were there around November when the rice was ripe. Am I correct? Answer. We left in November to clear the forest and to clear the land. Question. Please pay attention to my question and responded accordingly. You said that you went to carry the earth when the rice was ripe. And my question to you is the following. Did you go to carry the dirt in November when the rice was ripe? Because earlier you said that you went to clear the land and the forest before you went to carry the dirt. It could mean that you might have been there before November. Do you understand my question? Answer. Allow me to ask you a question. Are you asking me about the first time that I went to the Danberg site? Because I only cleared the forest during my first trip. And for the second trip, I did not go and clear the forest. I went there to carry the dirt. And for the first trip, I recall that I carried the dirt for only about 3 months, and when the rainwater was heavy, we were allowed to return. Question. Allow me to clarify this. My question is related to you carrying the earth. President interrupts. Counsel, please make your question precise. Whether you went to clear the forest before or after you went to carry the dirt, because it is rather confusing in your question. Council goes on. Mr. President, allow me to ask additional question. You spoke about the period that you went to clear the forest and that you then went to carry the dirt. And you already replied about the period that you went to clear the forest. Now I'd like to ask you about the time that you went to carry the dirt. And when did that happen? Earlier you said that you did it during the season when the rice was ripe, and my Nunchi Defense Counsel asked you the question and you said that it happened around November. So my question to you is, was it in November that you went to clear the forest, or was it in November that you went to carry the earth? Answer. During the first trip, I went to clear the forest, and I did not know how many months I spent clearing the forest. And for that trip, I spent 3 months carrying the earth, and then due to heavy rain, I returned to the village. Question. My question is related to the season. Was it during the time when the rice was ripe? President, Civil Party lawyer, you have the floor. Mr. Wanari. Thank you, Mr. President. I think the question put to the Civil Party by the Defense Council is confusing. It's backward and forward. It's up and down. It's so confusing for the Civil Party. And I think the statement made by the Civil Party and the responses through the Defense Council questioning and to the co-prosecutor are clear. She knew that her 100-member unit went there, and when it happened during the first time, she could not carry the dirt because of the thick forest. For that reason, she had to clear the forest first. And as she just said, she had to clear the forest and then clear that land, and then they will be assigned to dig that land, that plot of land. And I would urge Mr. President to advise the Council for Khieu Samphan to move on. Council Kong Samon. In fact, the response from the civil party is unclear. That's why I put further questions. From the outset, it seems to be clear that she wants to carry the dirt during the season when the rice was ripe. And of course, this is on the record in the transcript. But then I asked to get her clarification on the actual season that she did it. President interrupts. Council, please, we allow you to ask her one more time. Maybe you should ask when she went to clear the forest. We, the chamber, understand the responses from the civil party, but your question is very confusing. So, in your question, you said when did she went to clear the forest, and then whether she continued to carry the dirt. You should put through a distinct question on this. First on cleaning the forest, and then on carrying the dirt. Council, in fact, I put that question. President interrupts. Council, although your question is repetitive, the chamber allows you to put the question one more time in a clearer format. Council Kongsamon. Madam Civil Party, do you recall when did you go to clear the forest?
Answer. I went to clear the forest when the rice is ripe, and when the harvest season did not arrive yet. And after that, I came back to work at other work sites, council. So you went to clear the forest when the rice was not ripe yet. Is that correct? Answer, yes, that is correct. After clearing the forest, did you return to your place? President, please observe microphone, Madam Civil Party. Answer, After clearing the forest, I came back to carry soils assigned by my unit chief. Council. So this means that you did not return to your workstation. After clearing the forest, you were assigned to dig the soil and carry the earth at that place. Is that correct, witness? Yes, that is correct. Council, thank you. Could you clarify for the chamber about the measurement of the land, and after the measurement, the portion of land was given to you to work on? You stated already that the unit chief was the one who measured the land for individual worker or for the small units members. I would like to know about your big units or small units. Did members of those units change their workstation from time to time? Answer. They did not change their workstation. Our 100 members in our units worked on one particular area. Council, thank you. Was there only one specific location where you worked on, or did you move from one place to another to work? Answer. Actually, we move from one place to another after we finished one portion of land. And sometimes we would work in a far distance away from our sleeping quarter. Council, I am not talking about your sleeping quarter. I would like to know about the work site where you were digging soil. Did you work only on one specific work site, or were you asked to move and work in other places? Answer. No, we were not told to go and work in other places. We worked on one specific location. Council, could you tell the chamber what was the main task of your group? Was it the building dam or digging canal? Answer. It was the building dam that was the main task of my group. Council, thank you. Come back to measuring of the land. I would like to. I want you to clarify on this point. So, how much soil could you dig at that time during the 3-month period? Answer. I do not know. After I finished on one occasion, I moved further to work. Council, let me clarify. I asked you already about the workstation, whether you changed your workstation. And just now you stated that after you finish one place, you move on to work in another place. Could you clarify this point? Answer. So how could we work on just one specific location after one place? We had to move on and work in another place. President, please give your response, Madam Civil Party. Only you know the answer. The questioner will not know the answer. That's why the question is put to you. Answer. After we finish at one place, then we move on to work in another place. So we have to move forwards. Council, could you clarify what do you mean by saying move? Answer. Actually, after we dug the earth at one specific location and we finish it, we move to dig in another place close to that area. Council, could you give your explanation about the land which you dug? So how large was it in meters? Civil Party, I do not know how many meters and how deep was the area that I dug. I did not pay any attention to how deep and how large the pit after we dug. Council, thank you very much. You already stated before the chamber that the land was measured and after that it was given to you to work. And you also stated that one person had to be responsible for 4 cubic meters. How large is the 4 cubic meter if you compare to the area that we are in now? Answer. From my observation, they measure, for example, they use the stick or the pole to mark the area, to mark that it is 1 meter. Council, Mr. President, I heard the interference in my system. President, perhaps the sound you heard was from civil parties sitting behind. Please keep silence. Council, you stated about the quota of 4 cubic meters of land, 1 meter square in all size. Is that correct? Civil party, I do not know how to respond whether it's correct or not. It depended on the unit chief who gave me the assignment, and the unit chief would measure the land, for example, starting from one place to another area, perhaps it 4 meters square. Council, could you use your hands to show us how large is it? Civil party, I do not know how to give you the measurement. I told already that 4 cubic meters mean that 4 meters square. Council, I want to have your clarification. You just stated that it is 4 meters square. Is that correct? Civil party, yes, that is correct. Council, thank you, Mr. President. I conclude my line of questioning.
Mr. President, I only have one question of clarification to put to the witness and then to the civil party, and then I will be done. Good afternoon, civil party. My name is Antagise, and I have one question as the International Co-Counsel of Mr. Kesampan to put to you. I believe I understood from your testimony today that the unit chiefs and the subgroup chiefs were not always present on site, or in any case, the unit chief would not work with you. And sometimes the group chiefs would also not be there. Is that so? Did I understand correctly from your testimony?
Answer. I did not say that group chief were not there with us. I only stated that the chief of a small units sometimes carried us, and I did not mention about the chiefs of big units either.
When you tell us that the group chiefs would sometimes carry dirt, I understood from your testimony this morning that you said that sometimes they would just disappear without knowing where they would go. So did I understand you correctly?
Answer. Sometimes they were not present in sight. And as for group chiefs, they were with us all the time. Some chief of small units would do the carrying for a short while and then they were gone.
If I understood your testimony well, it is a soul named Chen. I'm sorry if I do not pronounce his name right, but who was the chief in charge of the 100 people in the unit. So he was the person who would remain on the site all the time. Is that correct?
Answer, yes, that is correct.
Is it also true to say that when the subgroup chiefs were not there, was he then the person in charge of watching over all of the 100 people? Is that correct?
Answer, I did not know in full about this matter. And as I said earlier, the chiefs of small units would do the carrying for 10 trips or more than that, and after that he moved to another group or units to do the carrying.
And if I understood your testimony well, you also said that it was at 4 o'clock in the afternoon that the work of the group was assessed and that they would evaluate the day's quota in terms of how much soil had been carried. Was that so?
Answer, yes, that is correct.
So this means, and please correct me if I am wrong, that even if there was no group chief who was with you all the time to know what you were doing on an individual basis, at 4 o'clock they knew what the group had done or had carried. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, there was always someone there to check what the group had done. Is that so?
Answer, it was only unit chiefs who would come to evaluate our daily quota result, and if not the chief of the big units, then it would be the chiefs of small units who came to evaluate.
And to be sure that I understood well, and this will be my last question, these small group chiefs of groups of 30 people, these are the people who would not stay with you all the time. They would sometimes disappear. So were you speaking about these chiefs?
Answer, it is difficult for me to understand because the question appears not to be clear to me. I already stated that when Chon was not there, the unit chiefs number 1, number 2 would come to evaluate. I mean, Nai and another individual, and it's very difficult for me to give my response to your question. It is confusing.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you for this clarification. So, therefore, my last question. So, if it wasn't the unit chief who would assess the work, it was the group chief. Is that so? Did I understand you correctly?
Answer, yes, that is correct.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no further questions.
បាទអរគុណ
President, thank you. It is now time for the adjournment, and the hearing will resume on the Tuesday, 2 of June 2015 at 9 a.m. And we will hear the civil party. My apology. This individual before us is a civil party. Madam Onron, I told you already about your rights as a civil party. You may make an impact statement, if any, concerning the crimes which are alleged against the two accused, Nunchia and Kyu Sampon, and harms inflicted upon you during the Democratic Cambodia, resulting in your civil party application to claim collective and moral reparations for physical, material, or mental injuries as direct consequences of those crimes. You may proceed.
នាងខ្ញុំសូម
Civil Party. I have a few questions. I want to know about the hard labor and starvation. Was this kind of policy adopted by you? President, do you want to make impact statement? And do you want to state about the harms which was inflicted upon you? Civil Party, no, Mr. President. President, thank you, Madam Civil Party. The Chamber wishes to inform you, Madam Civil Party, that after ascertaining the position of both accused on 8th of January 2015 regarding the exercise of the right to remain silent, the Chamber notes that the two accused maintain their expressed position unless and until such time the Chamber is expressly informed otherwise by the co-accused or their counsels. It is therefore incumbent upon them to inform the Chamber in a timely and efficient manner should the accused resolve to waive the rights to remain silent and be willing to respond to questions by the bench or relevant parties at any stage of the proceedings. As of today, the Chamber is not informed that the co-accused have changed their expressed position and thus agreed to provide their responses to questions. Once again, the hearing today come to an end, and the hearing will resume on Tuesday, 2nd of June 2015 at 9 a.m. We will hear a civil party 2 TCP 273 on that day. Please be informed. And the Chamber would like to inform the public that there is a national holiday on the 1st of June, that is Children's Day. Thank you, Madam Unron. The hearing of your testimony and the impact and harms that you were inflicted upon come to an end now. You may be excused from ECCC. You may return to your residence or to any desired destination. I wish you a very best and safe trip home. Court officer, please work with vessel to send Madam Civil Party Unron and 2 CCP 273 back to their residence or desired destination, and please return the Civil Party 273 back to the courtroom on Tuesday before 9 a.m. Thank you as well, Madam TPO staff. And please be back on Tuesday, 2nd of June 2015, so that you can sit close to the civil party while he or she is giving the testimony. Security personnel are instructed to bring Mr. Kyew Sampon and Nguyen Jie back to the detention facility, and please return them to the courtroom on Tuesday, 2nd of June 2015 before 9 a.m. The court is now adjourned.